now, right now. Right 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 now, right now. Oh, I got a real good feeling.
We try to bring you high-quality educational and informational content every single day. Why do you think the price is having such an anemic time? The news story of the hour. Jump onto the chart. Is this the beginning of a massive financial unraveling? We gotta add a little addendum to the show map today, so we start here on the daily. Now, we've been looking at the RSI on Bitcoin's daily chart for the last several days. It always has been, but it's been increasing over the last 50 years since the government has been getting bigger. Hey guys, what's going on? Jeb here, and welcome back to Coffee and Crypto Live. This is your week daily morning show where we bring you the latest and everything Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. And in today's episode, we are going to be talking about the Bitcoin market and where Bitcoin is going over the next couple of months. As you guys know, Bitcoin has been trading sideways up here right below $31,000 for quite some time, and we are very excited to see where that is going to go next. We're going to be talking about how Bitcoin is in this holding pattern, and we're going to look at a few different technical indicators that could indicate that a breakout will be coming as early as the later part of this month or moving into next month. Let's go ahead and jump straight on into reading chat. Paul Torelli's in chat. Grand Roofing Incorporated, Wisely T, Joe Bollier, Ernest Stokes, Richard Harrington said, I got the first like, so follow my lead. Boom. Billy Skills is in chat. Tomas DS, Sierra Entertainment, Rockin' Metal News, Buckaroo, Frankie Ruiz, Barry the Rave, Crypto Santa, Crypto Mini Bike, and Kevin Barr. I believe I got everybody with that. Good morning, everybody. Really appreciate all of you for tuning in. Today, we're going to be jumping straight on to CoinMarketCap and taking a quick look at the Bitcoin market dominance. As you guys know, Bitcoin has gone on a major run over the last over the course of the year of 2023. We've been seeing market dominance rally exceptionally quickly ever since it hit its bottom down here around 37.75%. It's rallied all the way up to 50%, adding nearly 13% in market dominance. This has indicated to us that Bitcoin has started to gobble up quite a lot of that market capitalization and quite a lot of that investor enthusiasm that we have seen as of late. Much of that pouring into Bitcoin is a very good sign, because as that market dominance has been pouring into Bitcoin, we've also seen market capitalization pouring into Bitcoin and cryptocurrency in general. So when we look at the Bitcoin market capitalization, which I'll just pull up really quickly over here, when we look at the Bitcoin market capitalization, we can see that it's been almost going like parabolic. We saw it bottom out around $300 billion at the beginning of this year, dropping all the way down to about $300 billion following the collapse of FTX. But it would go on to rally to over $600 billion for the first time in quite some time, just a little while ago, about a week ago, right before the 4th of July, last Monday, I believe that would be. Bitcoin is currently sitting at about $590 billion, and we're very excited to see where it's going to go next. And over the last 1 year, it is still up by 48.84%. Just keep that in mind. Over the last 12 months, Bitcoin's market capitalization and its price has increased by 48%. Very excited to see that, because Bitcoin has continued to start moving to the downside, to the upside. Now, just looking at some of our biggest gainers and losers over the last 24 hours, we can see Compound doing very well. Wrapped Bitcoin up 10% in the last 24 hours. One of the issues I have with Wrapped Bitcoin is this chart. Take a look at its chart over the last 7 days. Does this look like a chart that you want to be trading in? I'm not the biggest fan of this cryptocurrency, because this is not something that you want to see happen. This is not great. This is not a great look for Wrapped Bitcoin. Just keep that in mind. Now, Wrapped Bitcoin is up 10% over the last 24 hours, but just keep in mind, Bitcoin is not. And since Wrapped Bitcoin is supposed to be following Bitcoin, that's not the best look either. Solana's up 5.56%. Polygon up 5%. Render Token up 4%. BitDAO up 3.5%. Aave up 3.5%. Phantom up 3.5%. We actually have an interview with the founder of Phantom, Michael Kong, on our YouTube channel, you can go back a couple of years. We recorded that a while back at Bitcoin 2022. Excuse me, at the North American Bitcoin Conference 2022. Sand is up 2.57%. Zilliqa, name you probably haven't heard in a little while, up 2.5%. Litecoin doing well. Internet Computer doing well as well. We've got eCash down quite a bit. Algorand, Casper, KuCoin, and Aptos down by over 1.5% respectively. Bitcoin is still managing to have small gains, even though it is down below our level of resistance. So let's take a look over here at the price action chart. As you'll remember, we have a couple of theories about why and where Bitcoin may be heading next. And to find those theories, you can just come to this chart right here. The first theory that we have is that Bitcoin is in a trading channel of sorts, a bull flag of sorts, based on this rally that we saw start over here on the 16th of June, moving all the way through about the 22nd to 23rd of June, where Bitcoin would go on to rally several $1,000s. You can see that this is our bull flag right here, and if we just extrapolate, we can see that would give us a price target up at about $37,500. Now, the other theory that we're working with here is that this major downtrend that we saw happen between about tax day, April 15th, and June 20th or so, when we started to break out, this major downtrend constitutes what amounts to a bull flag in its own right. If we do our extrapolation from our about $11,000 price rally here, and extrapolate, we can see that's pointing us towards $39,500. This is pointing us to $37,500. So we're very excited to see where Bitcoin is going to go next. But I do believe that so long as Bitcoin can maintain some bullishness and start breaking new levels, they can stay up here above 28,545 for some time and confirm that this is the new range that Bitcoin is going to stay in. Then I see no reason to believe that Bitcoin can't push on towards 32,935 and beyond relatively soon. Remember, 32,935 is that kind of bear market bear market to bull market transition range. When you start getting above 32,935, that's when we really start kicking it into high gear and saying, yep, we're back in a bull market, because at that point, we are only about 50% away, about a doubling away from all-time high. From all-time high, 39,235 is a 50% drop. Getting above that means that we are half of the way to all-time high, not half of the way from where we started, but half of the way from zero back to all-time high. And it does also mean that, of course, if we were to rally to about $40,000, we would be about half of the way back to all-time high. In short, getting to 32,935, considering it is a level that was set right here as a bottom, and when we broke it, that confirmed the bear market. Breaking above it would also confirm the bull market. Keep in mind, we have not confirmed a bull market just yet. It is very possible that Bitcoin double tops up here, crashes for a few months, and then comes back up towards January of next year. It's very, very possible that that happens. However this occurs, whether we break up to 32,935 right now, or whether we break up to 32,935 6 months from now, that is the level that we are going to have to pay very close attention to. I'd like to say that both of these trading channels that we've discussed here would end up pushing us towards $39,000 to $40,000, but time will tell on that. Let's take a look out here at one of my favorite technical indicators called Lux Algo. If you guys are not familiar with Lux Algo is a wonderful technical indicator because it helps you to understand when the market is about to go up or when the market is about to go down. There's a lot more to it than just that. We normally talk about trend catcher, the actual Lux Algo buy and sell signals themselves, and then we also look at candlestick coloring and a few other parts of Lux Algo, but there's so much more to it, and it is a wonderful technical indicator. You can see here that we have a buy signal that came in on the 20th of June 2023. That buy signal gave us a price target all the way up here at $32,500, and this buy signal also allowed for us to have a green trend catcher confirmation, which meant that we had confirmed that Bitcoin was in a in a bullish rally and in a movement to the upside. Likewise, we also broke above this downtrending level of resistance, and we saw this large volume candlestick, this green volume candlestick, that indicated that this was a real battle, that Bitcoin was really winning, and Bitcoin was actually doing a good job. It was actually going to continue moving to the upside. Now, we've hit the bottom of that price target zone. That price target zone was right around 31K. We have now hit that. The question now becomes, can we really break through this resistance that we set back here in April of 2023? And I believe that that is absolutely possible. If we look back here at April, we'll see that Bitcoin initially set this level here at $31,034. If we look to more recent times past, we can see that Bitcoin has come up and tested that level a multitude of times. Once, twice, a third time, 4, 5, 6, and over the last 24 hours, we've almost tested it a 7th time by rallying up to $31,000. We came just a few dozen dollars short. In fact, actually, excuse me, the candle wick was hiding. We did touch 31,034. And so the question now becomes, will and can Bitcoin break above $31,000? The good news is Bitcoin is sitting right here below it. If we just look at these two trend lines, you can see very clearly that Bitcoin is sitting right beneath that level of resistance and is continuing to hit its head on here. Bitcoin is like a magnet drawn to this level at $31,000, and it's very probable that Bitcoin will continue to attempt to break above this level of resistance. It's very difficult to make a call here because the longer you move sideways in a trend like this, and the more times you hit your head on the resistance, theoretically, the more likely it is that you're going to end up breaking through $31,034. That being said, as we continue to trade sideways here, you also have to start asking yourselves the question, okay, well, Bitcoin, if we're going to break bullish, then why haven't we done it just yet? So we need to pay mind to the fact that Bitcoin, we're hoping will break above this level of resistance, but technically speaking, we have not had any confirmation that way just yet. We need to wait until Bitcoin is able to break up here with confidence. We are still under a buy signal on Lux Algo. You can see down here on the 4-hourly chart, we had a buy signal on the 15th of June, 2023. That was later confirmed. The same candle that we broke bullish above this downtrending level of resistance at 26,685. That green trend catcher gave us quite a lot of bullishness, and Bitcoin managed to rally quite far to the upside from there. We have still been under that green trend catcher confirmation and that green buy signal ever since. Now, let's take a look at a couple of other charts, because a couple of other charts are definitely playing into what Bitcoin's doing right now. Right now, the stock market is ranging sideways, and it has been ever since the 15th of June. Wait a second. Does that sound familiar? The stock market has been ranging sideways ever since about here. So Bitcoin has been ranging sideways with the stocks. How about that? That's almost like there's a correlation there. I wonder if we've talked about that before. You can see Bitcoin ranging sideways here with the stock market ranging sideways. Makes a lot of sense because the Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency market are highly positively correlated to each other. If I bring up the SPY, that's the SPY here, we put the price scale on, you'll be able to see quite clearly that there is a correlation. It should be very obvious, but if it's not, I can just kind of split the screen such as this and turn off Lux Algo. Whenever you see a rally in the stock market, there's generally a rally going on in Bitcoin too. Whenever there's a rally, there's a rally. Whenever there's a correction, there's a correction. In this case, Bitcoin corrected despite the stock market not going through a correction. And the reason for that probably was that Bitcoin needed a correction and the stock market just wasn't in a place for it. The stock market was going parabolic. And also at the same time, the stock market likely did give quite a lot of support to the Bitcoin market as it was dropping here, as Bitcoin most certainly could have dropped even farther if not for U.S. stocks going through a rally. But I think it is uncanny, the similarity that you can see here in between the Bitcoin market and U.S. stocks. Just see very closely. Bitcoin corrects, stock market corrects. So it's Bitcoin, bounce, bounce, crash, crash, rally, rally, crash, crash, rally, rally. You see the picture. I hope you understand the picture. So there has been a time that's been inversely correlated. There has been a time where Bitcoin's been down and the stock market has been up. That was in the post-FTX era, just a month or so after FTX completely collapsed in on itself. And so with the correlation now understood, we can look in at these shorter term prices, and we can see very clearly that Bitcoin has continued to trade sideways as U.S. stocks have continued to range sideways as well. So with that correlation, it is relevant to us to see just how U.S. stocks are performing so that we can see where the market is going to go, because if Bitcoin follows the stock market very closely, if we understand where the stocks are going to go, that's going to give us some degree of predictive power for the Bitcoin market. So let's take a look at the SPY. You can see the SPY right now is sitting at 440 points over on the SPDR S&P 500 ETF Trust. This is a very crucial level that the stock market is sitting at, because this is higher than our local high that we set back here on the 12th of August 2022. Setting this new local high is wonderful, not only because we set the high, but also because we backtested 430, which was our level of resistance, and level of support and resistance, and we actually managed to hold it. That is something that is very, very, very helpful, that the stock market bounced off of that level. It also comes at a time where there seems to be, for the medium term, uncertainty about what United States interest rates are going to do, but for the longer term, a likelihood that we're moving into a season of plateauing on interest rates, which gives U.S. stocks a lot more room to run, because the U.S. stocks are typically going to flourish on cheap debt, or at least on a market where interest rates are not going up. at least having some degree of consistency there is going to help Bitcoin dramatically. All right. Now, the other component that we want to look at here is the Dixie. You can now see that the Dixie is going through a major correction. This is wonderful news for Bitcoin, and it's frankly kind of surprising that Bitcoin hasn't already gone through a rally as a result of this. With U.S. stocks being in a sideways pattern, a holding pattern, and with the Dixie being in a general downtrend, and with the BlackRock news, it makes absolute and total sense that Bitcoin would be trading at $30,500. And frankly, these are both setups that could send Bitcoin even farther to the upside. At this point, it would not be surprising in the slightest to see the Dixie end up dropping down to this uptrending level of support. You can draw it pretty much however you want, but the point is it's going to sit right around there. So there may be a little bit more room to drop on the Dixie. From there, we also seem to see that there is quite a lot of exuberance and bullishness on U.S. stocks. They are definitely quite extended. They are definitely pretty far to the upside. They definitely could use a bit of a correction. The stock market, the SPY anyway, has gone on a rally of 16% in 112 days. That doesn't happen very often. But even if we have a small correction down to 430 or even down to 420, a rally in the stock market would end up being very bullish and exuberant for Bitcoin as well. So if we do see that happening, then we could definitely expect Bitcoin to be breaking through that 31K region sooner than we might be anticipating. So where is Bitcoin going to go over the next couple of months? I believe that Bitcoin is going to do obviously one of two things. Either one, it's going to have a major break to the upside, or two, it's going to have a small break to the downside, which is a consolidative movement, which will help Bitcoin to break to the upside in the future. If you remember this chart, then you will know that there is this price target that I have at the end of the year between $35,000 to $50,000. And you can also see that I made this price target back here in March. It's about 4 months ago. Bitcoin has been continuing to gradually trend to that direction. If Bitcoin has a small drop for the short term, that's totally fine. In fact, if Bitcoin were to drop down to this uptrending level of support, I would be over the moon about that. I have no problem with Bitcoin coming down to this level. That does not discourage me in the slightest. If Bitcoin were to come down to this level right here, as you can see, then that would require a drop of a couple of $1,000s down to about $27,000 to $28,000. Bitcoin could very well drop $2,000 to $3,000 up to 10% down to this uptrending level of support, and then use this uptrending level of support to build one gigantic ascending triangle pattern that would then lead to a breakout moving on into August. So remember, even though we look down on the hourly chart, on the 4-hourly chart, on the daily chart quite often, there are movements that can take place over the span of weeks, months, or even years. This is a movement that may take place over the order of weeks and months. And if Bitcoin does need to have a correction down to 28,545, we should not write that off. And frankly, I am starting to lean in the direction that we may have a correction before we break above $31,000, primarily because $31,000 has been tested so many times and we've rejected from it so many times, indicating that the bears are pretty strong in that area. It also indicates that the bulls are very strong in that area. It indicates that there's a lot of war in that area, a lot of fighting in that area. And if Bitcoin is able to fall back down, recoup, regain its composure, set a strong and confident bottom several $1,000s higher than the most recent local bottom at 24/7. If we were able to set a bottom $2,500 higher than that, for example, that would be able to give us the confidence that we need to say, all right, now Bitcoin is ready. So if Bitcoin did drop down to this trend line, bounce and break to the upside, then we would be in wonderful, wonderful shape for a break above $35,000 moving in towards August. And if we were to break above $31,000 above August, we would probably come back and backtest and moving into September, have some trading up there, and it would be very, very easy for us to hit that $35,000 price target by the end of the year just by doing something like this. You might look at this and say, this is one giant ascending wedge, and it very well may be. If we have this giant ascending wedge form, it could drop us back down to 31K, maybe drop us back down to 28.5, but then keep in mind the halving is coming here in April, and then Bitcoin would probably bounce and go through a major rally. Would not be at all surprised to see the market go through some kind of movement like this. You can go ahead and screenshot that if you want. I'm going to go ahead and remove it. But the idea is in the shorter term that Bitcoin would end up having that break above 31K within the next 60 days. Could happen tomorrow, but the more probable bet that is based on a wider scope of technical analysis is that we're going to give Bitcoin 2 months to break above $31,000, and we're going to ask Bitcoin to stay above $27,000 while it prepares for just that. Really stay above 27.5. All right, let's go ahead and read chat here for a minute. I really appreciate all of you guys tuning in. Let's see. We've got Queen in chat. Mike Lowry in chat. Hello. Silas E. Borg said, so do whatever Lux Algo says. Got it. Now, somebody share their account with me. Lol. We'll trade a Hulu password for Lux Algo password. I think Lux Algo is a little bit more expensive than Hulu, but Lux Algo basically does tell you exactly what to do. I mean, it is such a good technical indicator. I cannot share it with you enough. Lux Algo is absolutely wonderful. You can see this price target here started at $31,000. That's exactly where Bitcoin went. And if you're thinking there's some rewriting there, just take a look at this. It does update. As far as price targets do update if you hit them, but the price target was here since the very beginning. See, just do 1 day. Get the price target. Price target was set at $31,000, somewhere in the middle of this candlestick, and you can see that's exactly where Bitcoin went to. The price target, the center of the price target, is at $32,000. Top of the price target is $33,500. I do think Bitcoin will get there. And by the way, if Bitcoin does go through this corrective movement, it is very probable, so long as Bitcoin stays above roughly $28,000, that Bitcoin will not end up going into a sell signal, but instead Bitcoin will stay in this buy signal, and this take profit will end up coming true with a price target up around $33,000 to $34,000. It just might take until August. Keep in mind, Lux Algo doesn't just get, and you may have never thought about it like this, but Lux Algo doesn't just give the price target on the price scale. It also gives the price target somewhat on a time scale. You can see here, this isn't exactly a price target. This is just kind of how far it goes. But you can see here, you can see here that the price target also extends out into the future pretty far, out towards the end of August. Now, if you move the market forward, then that's going to push forward. So, for example, if we just grab our take profit here, then you can see it goes to about mid-August. So it updates and it moves forward, you see. But it does still give you this kind of idea that, okay, it may take some time to get to this level. Even looking down on shorter term time frames, look down on the hourly chart for a minute. You're going to see what I'm talking about. We have a price target on this buy signal right now for Lux Algo at 31K. It could take some time to get there. Now, in this case, it didn't take that time to get there. You can see that that buy signal came into play right here at 10 a.m. Yesterday morning. Bitcoin would go on to hit the top price target right here just 6 hours later. By the way, this was not even confirmed by Trendcatcher, but Bitcoin did exactly what the take profit showed you, and we hit up to 31K. By the way, if you were wondering whether or not Lux Algo gives you good signals, let me just show you really quickly whether it does. This is a buy signal that came into play right here. See, so the buy signals came into play right here. This is not rewriting. This is the original buy signal for this this is the original take profit for this buy signal. Buy signal came in 10 a.m. Monday, July 2023. The bottom of the take profit was 30,687. Top was 31,048. And you can see that's exactly where Bitcoin went to. Exactly where Bitcoin went to. And so right now, there's not a trend catcher confirmation, but trend catcher is not the only confirmation you're going to look for. If you were to look down here on the shorter term time frames, you would also have seen, hey, look, buy signal just came in on MACD. Hey, look, RSI just crossed bullish. Great. All right. Maybe there's something to this. Bollinger Bands were very constricted and they started to expand. Wonderful, wonderful pieces of technical analysis that you could do there to ascertain that that was a buy signal that you actually probably should have paid at least some degree of attention to. And that buy signals take profit did end up coming to fruition. So Lux Algo is doing a great job, and out on the daily chart, Lux Algo is giving us that prediction that we're going to hit all the way up to potentially as high as 33.5, but that may take 2 months. All right. So let's also look at a couple of other time frames. I want to show you the 3 daily chart because the 3 daily charts had a huge update relatively recently, and that update shows up here. We had the trend catcher turn red at this point, and then we saw a red sell signal a little bit late on the 3 daily chart. 3 daily chart I typically don't do a lot of analysis on for the counter trends, but for the primary trends. What do I mean by that? Well, if you're in a primary uptrend, so as we've been since December, we've been in a primary uptrend with secondary downtrends. If you're in a primary uptrend, then those trends typically last longer, and Lux Algo is typically going to be more helpful on those. And that's the same thing for any technical indicator. That's nothing to do with Lux Algo. That's just kind of the way it works. Indicators take a little bit of time to get confirmation, so if it's a short movement, you might get the confirmation too late. In the grand scheme of things, this was a relatively short movement, so trend catcher did not, so the Lux Algo sell signal did not come into play in time. Now, if you're using your technical analysis holistically, we actually had the sell signal come into play at the very top at 30,438. And stayed red the entire time. So don't knock Lux Algo, just make sure you're watching all of your time frames here. This sell signal came in a little late, but you did get the sell signal you needed on the daily chart. If you're measuring the counter trends, a good principle to keep in mind is to use a slightly smaller time frame for your confirmations. If you're measuring the primary trends, then you can use that time frame or you can use longer term time frames. For example, we had a buy signal come into play back over here. Let's just go to the original date. We had a buy signal come into play here in very early January on the 3-daily chart. This was one of our first warnings, one of our first encouragements that something big was about to happen in 2023. It was Friday, January the 13th. Our initial buy signal was sitting between $25,000 and $31,500. So this already predicted where the market would go, because right now our local top 7 months later is $31,500. You see how these things can take time. Lux Algo predicted this very well. Moving forward, you can see that we would go on to hit the very bottom of that take profit first. You can see we came here to 25,236. Bottom of the take profit was basically right at 25,236. 25,236 was a hugely important level because it was a level that we had used as resistance back over here on the 14th of August, 2022. Bitcoin ran up and tested that. Then you can see that we had a slight sell signal for a moment, so that got invalidated. We got a buy signal, and we got a new take profit. But remember, the original take profit down here, the top of the take profit was at 31.5. Run the market forward, you're going to see another drop, or excuse me, you're going to see first a rally up to $31,000. Do you see that? That rally up to $31,000 is very significant because that's where that first take profit came into play. Now we have another take profit. So essentially, we first hit the bottom of this take profit. The bottom of this take profit was, let's go to a cleaner chart, make this a little simpler for you. The bottom of this take profit was at 25,236. Let me just go ahead and set these things. 25,236. Right around that level. The bottom of the take profit was at 25,236. The top was at $31,000. And I can just prove that real quick. Take a look. You can see that's the take profit. Got the take profits right here. 31.5 to 31.7. First thing we did, we hit the bottom of the take profit here. And then we would reset a little bit because there's a red signal, but then we came back in with a green one. So remember that take profit, even though it's not on the screen anymore. We would end up going ahead and fulfilling the bottom as a take profit and then the top. The first place we stopped was the bottom of the take profit. The second place we stopped was the top of the take profit. Now what we've done is we reset with a new buy signal. That new buy signal gave us a take profit on the bottom of 31.5, and we hit that. Now we're going to see a red and a green flash happen back to back again. And then what we're going to see happen is that the top of this take profit became the bottom of this take profit at $37,000. Bitcoin has already hit the bottom of this take profit. And so it makes sense that next Bitcoin would hit the bottom of this take profit again, which it has done at 31.7, and then move on to the top of this take profit and the bottom of this take profit, which is sitting at $37,000. All of that coupled, and I hope that made sense. You might have to watch that back. But what all of that means is that when you have a buy signal, you first hit the bottom of the take profit and then the top of the take profit. And you got to keep in mind what those levels are because they're not going to show up on the chart if you have a red signal flash and that's going to reset things. But you're ending up hitting the exact levels that Lux Algo is giving you, almost down to a couple $100s of accuracy over the span of several months worth of prediction. The next level to follow that trend would be at $37,000. And if you recall, based on our chart, if Bitcoin does have that correction, as we've talked about here, down to $27,500 to $28,000, it would not be at all unlikely for Bitcoin to rally $9,000, $8,700 again, and rally to $36,000 to $37,000 to the bottom of that take profit, as is described on the 3-daily chart. You can see why I want to look at the 3-daily chart. It's got a lot of very valuable information out there. At the same time, the shorter term time frame shows us that a 33.5 Bitcoin is in the cards. If Bitcoin did drop down to $27,500 to $28,000 and rallied $8,000, that would not be out of the ordinary. We've rallied $6,500 relatively recently. Back in March and April, Bitcoin rallied $11,500. So Bitcoin rallying from $28,500 up $6,500 up to $8,000, up to $36,000 is not at all unlikely. But the way that we do that might not be just a super fast rally over the next couple of days. It might be a correction to the downside and then a rally to the upside. As we continue trading sideways here, I start to become more and more in the camp of we're going to have a smaller correction before we break to the upside. And then I'm hopeful that we have a break above just more quickly. I think it would be healthier. I think it would be more sustainable. And I think it would ultimately be more likely that Bitcoin is going to break above $31,000 to $31,500 over the course of the next month and a half, rather than just betting, banking, and hoping that it's going to happen right now. All right. So really appreciate all of you guys tuning in. As far as any day in the next 30 to 45 days, there's probably going to be a major break bullish on Bitcoin. But at this point, I think that there is going to be a higher likelihood than not that you're going to have a break to the downside first. Really appreciate all of you guys tuning in. Micah said, at CryptoJeb, have you done a video on using Lux Algo? If not, would you be willing to? Thanks. Absolutely, Micah. You can check the channel. There are some videos that we've done on Lux Algo that have done pretty well. I'll just go ahead and show you really quickly here. Let me show you. You can see right here. This video might be helpful for you. A perfect indicator calls a $70,000 Bitcoin Lux Algo. I would definitely recommend checking out that piece of content. And I believe there's also another video that we did. A perfect indicator calls Bitcoin bull market. This is another Lux Algo video here. I would make sure to check this out. Actually, I take that back. I believe that's a Lux Algo video. I could be wrong, but you would have to check and see. There's also one right here where we talk about a drop. This was kind of the counter movement that a lot of people were worried about. All right, so make sure to check those out. Good deal. All right, let's keep reading chat here. Really appreciate all of you guys for tuning in. Let's see. Play me for seed phrases in Magic the Gathering. Nope. Not going to do that. Never do that. Oh, my goodness. All right. Ken Bill said, hi, Jeb. Watching from Perth, Australia. Oh, Perth, out there in the middle of the desert. Perth is the city on the far west, correct? Of Australia, I think. Is that Perth I'm thinking of? Aha, it is. Perth is the city that's out there like a colony on the moon, just in the middle of nowhere. That sounds like a really awesome place to live. Sounds like a place that you also have to be very, very independent. That is so cool. I have always wanted to visit Australia. You've got to tell me if it feels like you're in the middle of nowhere in Perth. Because, I mean, Australia almost reminds me, with how empty it is, it just almost reminds me of like the Sahara. Just super, just massive. There's like nobody out there. But obviously there are people out there. People inhabit all parts of it. But I know that the Australian Capital Territory is the area where the most amount of people in Australia live. You got me curious now. I'm going to look up an Australian population density map. See what I can find there. That is very interesting. That's about what I thought it was. Yeah, look at this. So here's just, well, that's lights at night. Let's see. You guys know I like to learn about all things because I think it kind of comes in handy when you know just random facts. Here's a picture. Population density in Australia. Let's see if I can pull this up. There we go. Check this out. Good old Reddit. Thank you, Reddit. Population density. Lot higher. Right around Perth and then around the capital region. Not a lot going out here in the Northern Territory and out in the outback. That's so cool. I'm probably offending everybody who is in chat right now who's from Australia, but sorry. All right. Jeb, how's your family? Doing well. Really appreciate you for asking. Brief Crypto in chat. Queens in chat. Shadrach Frost, who's been a member for 22 months, says, folks, please take a quick moment and smash the like button for Jeb. Give him back the love and respect he shows us daily. Godspeed, everyone. Thank you very much, Shadrach Frost. I really appreciate that. Thank you very much. Press O'Neill said, hey, at Crypto Jeb, I was able to accumulate 1 Bitcoin, 5 ETH, and 4,000 ADA. Woo! Good job. My plan is to sell all my ETH and ADA during the bull market and sell a quarter Bitcoin. Is this a smart move? Hashtag NFA, hashtag knowledge advice. Yes, I think that's a pretty solid setup. I would encourage you to just be careful with the ADA and the ETH, but you've got a pretty good split. I like the fact that you're very heavy in on Bitcoin because that would be about 30 grand yeah, you've got like a 75-25 split, 75% in Bitcoin, 25% in ETH and ADA. Just some quick math off the top of my head. I think that is a wonderful split. And so what I would encourage you guys to do is remember that Bitcoin is a very stable asset in the cryptocurrency market in the scheme of things. As far as assets go, Bitcoin is the one that does the best. And so I think it is best that we keep a large portion of our portfolio in the cryptocurrency that is the highest performing, which would be Bitcoin. So very excited to tell you that I think that's a pretty good move. Yes, Press O'Neill. I think that's a wonderful move. All right, guys, hit me with your questions. Then we're going to wrap it out. Really appreciate you guys for tuning in. Are crypto market all-time highs more likely to peak in 2024 or 2025? I know it's hard to predict, but I hear so much conflicting info. Assuming the 4-year cycle, with the next bear market be in 2026 then? Yeah, so we'd be looking at the next bear market in late 2025 to 2026. Bull market happening in this year, the beginning of it, which it kind of looks like is the beginning of it. And then the bull market really taking over in 2024. 2024 shaping up to be a very bullish year, similar to how 2020 was. We look at the market through the lens of the 4-year cycle, we would be able to say that we're basically in the equivalent of 2019 right now. 2019 is everything between this vertical line right about here, give or take. You know, we're kind of going for abouts here, not for exactlies. About right here. That's about the year of 2017. Basically, one giant rally, one giant correction. Bitcoin's essentially doing the same thing here in this year. We're essentially doing the exact same thing. Bitcoin's having one large rally, and maybe we rally up to 38K, and then we have one large correction. Whatever it is, Bitcoin's basically setting up another 2019. 2020 was right here. You can see the majority of the bull market took place in 2020 and on into 2021. Following this trend, the majority of the bull market would take place in late 2024, so like a year from now, moving on into 2025. And then by the end of 2026, then that's where you would be looking at the bear market. We began the bear market right around the beginning of 2022. That would be 2026 that you'd be beginning the bear market. So we're still like a year away from bull market, from proper bull market. We're just sitting here in kind of limbo, just trying to get things really off the ground and get things really going. And that takes time, and that's not a bad thing that it takes time. The Bitcoin market taking its time and doing things right is much, much better. How do you feel about dividend stocks? I think dividend stocks are a great investment. If you're trying to build passive income, a lot of times you can get, there are groupings of stocks that, goodness, what are they called? They're called the great dividend stocks or something. There's a word for it. And they're stocks that have consistently paid out very good dividends. And if you're trying to build a stock portfolio, it's not a bad idea to have a subsection of it in stocks that pay out dividends, because you can get 2, 3, 4, 5% on average, and you buy a big swath of them. And then of course you're going to hopefully make money by the appreciation of the stocks, but you'd also make money on the dividends. And what some people do is they try and build a passive income strategy by setting up $1 million in investment in stocks that pay out dividends, and then they live on the $30,000. Or they reinvest the dividends. There's different things you can do, but just keep in mind that if a stock pays out dividends, that probably means it's going to have ever so slightly slower growth, because it means that the company does not have the ability to reinvest that money into their business, because they're paying it out in dividends. So it pays off in both directions, because a lot of times if it pays dividends, then it also brings more interest in buying and investing in that stock. But I don't think you should just invest in dividends. I think that you might be getting a little bit carried away on just kind of going all in on one thing. But I think they're absolutely a great help. Dua Lead said, "Thank you for answering my question. Sounds like we are still in the foothills of the Rockies, so to speak, accumulation phase." Yes, we are on I-40 heading west out of Denver, and we are at that first hill. For any of you guys who have ever been to Denver, you know the one I'm talking about. There's that one hill, and you look in the rearview mirror, and you're like, whoa, we're higher than the skyscrapers behind us. Excuse me, I said I-40. I'm so sorry. I-70 is what I was trying to say. For any of you guys who have ever been to Denver or live in Denver, Colorado, I-70 is right here. You cross this road. I forget what it is. Oh, this is US 40. Maybe that's where I'm getting the number 44 from. And then you come up right here, and then you start heading up into the Rockies. Just for an example, I'll just give you an example. This is going to be a visual example of what Bitcoin looks like. We're right here. So, oops, there's Streamlabs. We're right here. See how you can see out there? There's Colorado. We're right here. This is where we are. Maybe that was helpful. Maybe it wasn't. But yeah, we're right about. Let's do it again. Let's see. I love who has ever played the game GeoGuessr? We're right here. You look back, and back out over there somewhere is Denver. Up there are the Rockies. Cool. All right, guys, that is going to pretty much wrap it out for today's stream. I really do appreciate all of you for tuning in, and I really do appreciate all of you guys for being so eager to learn about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, because I do think that there's a lot of value that you can mine and generate here, but we've also got to remember the principles of financial sovereignty and ensure that we are in a position to learn about what financial sovereignty is so that we can apply it in our lives and make a real difference. So thank you guys so very much for tuning in. I hope you did enjoy. If you did, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and make sure to go and sign up for Lux Algo. You can use coupon code JEB30, JEBB30 for 30% off at checkout. And if you use the monthly plan and our coupon code, you can save $20.40 every single month just by using that coupon code. Again, that's JEB30, JEBB30. So thank you guys so very much for tuning in and signing up for Lux Algo. Before I go, I do just first want to thank each and every single last one of you for watching, as always, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.
Oh, I got a real good feeling. Got a real good feeling.